It seems like the San Francisco Giants and the Boston Red Sox may have given up a little bit too early on Kyle Harrison because he sure looks like an ace for the Milwaukee Brewers and fantasy teams alike in 2026. Let's talk about him.
You are Locked On Fantasy Baseball, your daily fantasy baseball podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, fantasy baseball fanatics, and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Baseball podcast. I am your host, Dominick Martino, and today we are talking about Kyle Harrison, starting pitcher of the Milwaukee Brewers, in our short form episode. At the end of the episode, I'll talk about my expectations rest of season for Kyle Harrison. In the middle of the episode, we'll get into some of the underlying stuff on Kyle Harrison and whether or not it believes if he can keep it up. But here at the top of the episode, man, let's talk about the numbers and how dominant Kyle Harrison has been this season. So far on the season, Kyle Harrison has made 11 starts. He has won 7 of those. He has a 1.57 ERA and a 1.03 whip with 57 innings pitched and 73 strikeouts. And let's talk about the revenge game that Kyle Harrison put out there against the San Francisco Giants. It was actually dominant. You know, the team that drafted him back in 2020, 5.2 innings pitched, got the win, struck out 12, gave up 1 earned run, and it was 4 hits and 2 walks. So Kyle Harrison was absolutely dominant. He's looked really good all season long. If you go back 2 starts ago against the Cubs, 7 innings, a win, 11 strikeouts, no earned runs, 0.43 whip. The one before that, 5 innings against San Diego, 1 win, 7 strikeouts, no earned runs, a clean 1 whip. Kyle Harrison's been dominating. He's been really, really good this season. We know that the Brewers do great things with starting pitchers. Look at Corbin Burns, look at Brandon Woodruff, look at The Miz. They've just been really good in recent years with starting pitching. It seems like Kyle Harrison is no exception to that rule. Harrison's 89% owned on Yahoo. He should be 100% owned on Yahoo. If you play in a shallower league, maybe you're playing in your home man league, maybe it's a 6-man, something like that, make sure Kyle Harrison's owned. I know your deep league players, might be out there laughing at it, but listen, I know there's a lot of different versions of fantasy baseball that get played out there. Make sure Kyle Harrison's owned in your league. I'll say this. You could sell high. I don't think Kyle Harrison will be this good the rest of the season, but will he be a potential top 24 to 30 starting pitcher by season's end, with the upside being a top 20, inside the top 20 starting pitchers? Yes, I think that's definitely possible. The underlying stuff for Kyle Harrison, we'll get into a little bit. It believes in Kyle Harrison. There's some legitimate changes here. When specifically we're talking about his slurves, the breaking stuff, the movement on the slurve this year just looks different. It looks like a different kind of pitch than last year. He's using it a little bit more than he did last year. Batters last year against Kyle Harrison's slurve hit 333. This year they're hitting 115 against it. Basically the same speed, but different movement. It's coming out of the pocket a little bit different there from Kyle Harrison this year. That is the slurve. Fastball, about the same, averaging a little bit more velo on it, up about 0.5 mile an hour on the fastball velo. Batter sitting 221 against it, looking real good. The changeup and the sinker that he's throwing this year really aren't working great, but the changeup's 10% of the time. The sinker's only 1% of the time. He got rid of the cutter that he was throwing last year about 3% of the time, just hasn't thrown it yet this year. I don't know. The changeup is, kind of to throw hitters off between the fastball and the slurve for Harrison. Just doesn't seem like it's working great. And then the sinker, he doesn't really throw it at all. I like him. I think there's a legitimate change. The xERA is 309. X batting average is 232. Getting a lot of chases and whiffs, striking everybody out, as you can see with the, 73 strikeouts and 57 innings. He's not really getting hit hard. I would love to see some more ground balls from Kyle Harrison here. But, it's things that, small stuff, it's little things here for Kyle Harrison. He's 24. He's 6'2". He's 216. He's a big boy. I think there's a lot more success here going forward for Kyle Harrison. If you can get an ace-like pitcher for him, I do it. If you could, and I hate to say it, I still believe in Logan Gilbert. If you could work a trade, maybe it's Kyle Harrison and a closer for Logan Gilbert, I do that. If you can get Kyle Harrison straight up for Gilbert, I would do that. It's situations like that where I would look to move. If you're not getting that kind of a return on Kyle Harrison, sit on him. Just wait, enjoy it. I do think he will be very good for the rest of the season, and I do think he will be good going forward. He has good stuff. There's a reason that, he was a high-end prospect going back as few as I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago. Let's see if I can get that information for you guys. Let's go back one more. Let's go here. Let's see. Kyle Harrison was the number 18 prospect in all of MLB going into the 20 or by the end of the 2023 season, rather. So there you go. That's that. We'll move on and we'll talk about what I think Kyle Harrison's final line could be at the end of season and what my rest of season expectations are with some numbers. That and more coming up next. But first, guys, I need to talk to you about my friends over at Indeed. Because, listen, hiring isn't just about finding someone willing to take the job. It's about finding the right person with the right background who can actually help your business move forward. And if you want candidates who match what you're looking for, Indeed-sponsored jobs is the move. Because instead of hoping the right person stumbles across your post, Indeed helps you match with quality candidates by boosting your job listings to the people who fit your specific criteria, like skills, certifications, and locations. If I were hiring, I just wouldn't want someone who could help. I want someone with real experience who could jump right in and help my business succeed. That's what I like about Indeed. You can get real specific and target exactly what you need. It saves you time and money because you're spending less energy sorting through mismatches. And here's a stat that says it all. In the minute I've been talking to you, companies like yours have made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who check all of your boxes with Indeed sponsored jobs. Listeners of the show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring, do it the right way with Indeed. And then I just want to say thank you to our everydayers and new listeners for making Locked On Fantasy Baseball your first listen of the day. And thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. You already live your team every day. Now let's take it up a level and go ad-free. Baseball is back, and you can lock in by joining the Everydayers Club, which gets you ad-free episodes, access to our group chat on Discord, and so much more than I have time to talk about in the short episode. So tap the link in the show notes for more if you are interested. But all right, guys, let's dig a little bit more into Kyle Harrison. We'll do kind of a rest of season expectation and things like that. I think by the time things are all said and done, I think it's a low 3s ERA for Kyle Harrison. Maybe it's like a 3.2, something like that. The K's, I think it's going to be a really monstrous K season for Kyle Harrison, man. He's already up at, 73 strikeouts and 53 innings. How many did he throw last year? See, this is the big thing. How many? I got to see how many innings Kyle Harrison threw last year to give you guys like a firm projection here on how many innings I think he'll hit this year, how many strikeouts I think he'll get. It was actually 110 innings, 111 innings last year for Kyle Harrison. So I think if he touches like 140, 150, maybe 170, 175 strikeouts. I think that's in with the realm of possibilities because the K per 9 is going to be really high. It looks like he's figured things out with the control. Only 16 walks through 57 innings when he had 14 through 35 last year. So a big step in the right direction. I hope he can keep up the control, but still, even if it's like finishes with like a 107, 108 whip, I think Kyle Harrison is still a very good pitcher the rest of the way. If you could trade him, I want to say for a top 24-ish starting pitcher, I'd consider it. If you can get ace caliber kind of guy, I would definitely do it. But I still think he's going to be good the rest of the way because even if he does pitch like a low 3s ERA with a lot of strikeouts and like a 108, 109 whip, the rest of the way is still a really good starting pitcher that you most likely took at the end of your drafts, or even some leagues where he was picked up off waiver wires. So with that being said, man, I'm a big Kyle Harrison guy. I just want to reiterate how well Milwaukee does things with starting pitching, that they may have unlocked that the top end prospect that's been there all along, that the Giants thought they had drafted and that the Red Sox thought they had traded for. They got Caleb Durbin was the main piece back in the Kyle Harrison deal for Boston. So don't they look silly this year when Kyle Harrison's out there dominating the way he is? And boy, could Boston really use a good starting pitcher like Kyle Harrison right about now. So if you have Kyle Harrison on your team, enjoy it. If you don't, like I said, I'm trying to acquire him. If you can get him on the cheap, if you're selling, sell high. But guys, that is all for today. Thanks for tuning in to Locked On Fantasy Baseball. Make sure you subscribe and follow Locked On Fantasy Baseball so you get all of our latest episodes. We're available anywhere you could watch podcasts, listen to podcasts. We're available on all social media platforms. But for those of you on the video side, we want to send you over to the first ever 24/7 National Locked On Podcast Network YouTube channel. And on the audio side of things, make sure your second listen is Locked On MLB. But guys, until next time, see ya.